think the best product that I've ever reviewed was the Asus ROG XG35VQ, as its design, form factor, but ultimately its gaming performance put it on a whole nother level versus pretty much everything else I've ever tested, and the results, when combined with a fast graphics card, were truly incredible. So you can imagine my excitement when Asus shipped my review sample of the brand new Strix XG35VQ, a monitor that has more or less identical specifications, but for £200 less. But unfortunately, after testing this for 3 weeks, I've come away a little disappointed. Not because it's not a fantastic product, but because it's just simply not the perfect monitor it really had the potential to be. The biggest strength with ROG's monitors is always with the design and build quality. Sure, it's definitely gaming-esque in its style, but the construction is so much better than everything else, with sturdy metal legs that inspire the utmost confidence, and the smoothest adjustment mechanism I think I've ever tested, with both height adjust and tilt present and correct. Port selection is excellent too, with 2 HDMI sockets and a single display port. I only really have 2 complaints. Firstly, the stand is way too big for shallow desks, and if you are in this camp, I strongly advise you upgrade or look at a different monitor. And then secondly, while the on-screen menu is ridiculously easy to navigate, the buttons feel really cheap, which is really odd considering the rest of the build quality. The curved 35-inch panel has a resolution of 3440 by 1440 and a maximum refresh rate of 100Hz while using VA technology. There's no sign of HDR here, but you do get AMD FreeSync between 48 and 100Hz, as long as you're running an AMD graphics card. As you'd expect for a monitor this expensive, the image quality is excellent across all scenarios, with rich, vibrant colours and fantastic contrast. For general use, there's barely a complaint in sight, and if you're able to find some 21:9 content to watch, it really will look great. It's not quite as good as the absolute best IPS panels though, as it does offer a slight dip in quality from my reference LG UC99 when grading in Resolve. But this is incredibly niche, so unless you're working with absolutely colour critical deliverables, you'll simply adore the Strix. Of course, this is a £800 gaming monitor though, so at the end of the day, quite literally in my case, only one thing matters: gaming. And for the most part, it is the perfect package, with a smooth 100Hz refresh rate, a remarkably low amount of input lag, and a level of immersion that really makes you fall in love with gaming again. It really is the ideal setup, and at £200 less than the ROG XG35VQ, you might wonder why anyone would pick that up. But you see, there is a big problem here, and you may recall that earlier in the review I mentioned this uses a VA panel, which can give you great colour accuracy and contrast, but unfortunately it brings with it a big problem on these fast panels: ghosting. Now this isn't anything new for fast VA panels, and in fact the Strix actually handles it a lot better than other VA panels I've used. But they weren't £800, and at this price point it's been really sad to see an ugly amount of smearing across my games. To be clear, it won't affect every title, and it's only noticeable in areas of high contrast and fast movement. But as someone that's clocked up 25 hours of PUBG on this monitor, I think it's hit me every game. Just ask the people in my Discord how much I've been moaning about it. On the bright side though, the VA panel does suffer less in terms of glow and backlight bleed, and while I can definitely make it look awful on camera with the wrong angle and settings, in real world use there's nothing close to what I'd describe as an issue, even in a dark room. So having said all of this, would I ultimately recommend people buy the Strix? Well, there's definitely a lot going for it. I mean, immersion is truly epic on this thing. If you've never experienced 3440 by 1440 ultrawides when playing games, especially at 100Hz, it's truly mesmerising, it really is. Just Cause 3 is always a massive one for me because it looks so damn good on this thing. But then again, it's £800 and it's 100Hz. And at this sort of specification and price, I think people are going to be playing a lot of fast-paced games, and the monitor simply can't always keep up. And the ghosting issue, how much of an issue it's going to be depends purely on what you're going to play on it. For me, playing a lot of PUBG, it's very noticeable, but if you're someone that plays a lot of Civilization or a lot of controller-based games, it probably won't really be that much of an issue for you. So ultimately, that decision is with you, but the monitor is not the perfect crown jewel of the monitor world that I really thought it would be, but it's still very good, and it does win the silver award. But let me know what you thought, as always, down in the comments section below. A massive thank you to Asus ROG for loaning out this review sample and sponsoring the channel as always. And as always, this review of course was my own, nothing to do with Asus themselves. But yeah, like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos just like this, and I'll see you next time.